precisely 6:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. Sri Lanka's first higher education institute to feature a Japanese job-oriented program commences a degree program. The Financial Intelligence Unit imposes a penalty on a private bank to enforce compliance. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange crosses 10,000 points mark. The Commissioner General of Examinations says GCE Advanced Level and Grade 5 scholarship examinations will not be postponed. Monday declared as a holiday for government and government-approved private schools. And in world news, long queues reported as people wait to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II. And in sports news, the Sports Minister approves the cricket squad for the T20 World Cup in Australia. Now the local news in detail. Lanka Nippon BizTech Institute launched its first degree program today at KNBTI premises Maharagama in the presence of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and Japanese Ambassador Mizutoshi Heike. LNBTI is an accredited degree awarding institute for BSc Honours in Software Engineering. LNBTI becomes Sri Lanka's first and only Japanese higher education institute to feature a Japanese job-oriented program approved by the Ministry of Education. Japanese private sector employment opportunities will be available for the Sri Lankan students passing out of this university. LNBTI is the only Japanese higher education institute in South Asia to offer quality IT degree programs with an agreement of professional and permanent employment in the Japanese IT industry. The institute's strong relationship with professional Japanese business counterparts owes in parts to the synergies between its parent companies, Metatechno International, Japan and Ecsenade Group of Companies, Sri Lanka. The central bank says financial penalties are imposed on institutions for non-compliance with the provisions of the Financial Transactions Reporting Act. The penalty may be prescribed taking into consideration the nature and gravity of relevant non-compliance of the financial institution. Accordingly, the Financial Intelligence Unit has imposed a penalty amounting to 1 million rupees on a private bank to enforce compliance on financial institutions. The money collected as penalties were credited to the Consolidated Fund. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange crossed the 10,000 points mark today. The index closed at 10,072.38 points at the end of trading today, which is an increase of 158.26 points from the previous day. Meanwhile, the S&P SL20 index closed at 3,251.21 points today, which is an increase of 71.42 points. Today's total turnover was recorded as 5.33 billion rupees. Commissioner General of Examinations LMD Dharmasena says that GCE Advanced Level examination will commence on the 5th of December. He said the Grade 5 scholarship examination will be conducted on the 4th of December. He rejected the reports that those examinations would be postponed. The Commissioner General requested the students and parents not to take misled by such false reports. He further said, despite the problems, the examinations will be conducted as scheduled. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news. The Ministry of Education says that Monday has been declared a special holiday for government schools island-wide. September 19th has been declared as a special government holiday and a day of national mourning by the government in view of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. Accordingly, Monday has been declared a holiday for government schools and government-approved private schools. The Supreme Court today issued an interim order suspending Colombo High Court trial proceedings against parliamentarian Patali Champika Ranavaka in connection with Rajagiriya motor accident case. The interim order will be effective until March 16th next year. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court granted leave to proceed with the appeal petition filed by MP Patali Champika Ranavaka. He filed the appeal challenging the Court of Appeal's decision to reject his revision application regarding the alleged motor accident that took place in 2016 at Rajagiriya. Secretary to the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, Pradeep Ratnayaka, says that coordination of all state organizations is a timely need for the development of the country. He mentioned this while attending the function to launch the book Planning, Theory and Strategies, written by Planning and Operations Director of the State Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, Sampath Malawarache. Taking part on the occasion, Director General of the National Planning Department, Anuradha Kumarasiri, said completing projects implemented by the government is a major support for the development of the country. He further said that providing knowledge on a procurement to all state employees will help to maintain productive state service. The United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Sri Lanka representative Dr. Rane van Berkel says the European Union has donated $22.83 million and €18.75 million to Sri Lanka for sustainable industrial development in the country. He said this while participating at a working committee meeting to implement the national plan of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization for the development of Sri Lanka's industries. He further said the amount of $22.83 million provided by the EU to Sri Lanka has been allocated for the 8-year industrial development projects from 2015 to 2023 and for the development of sectors dealing with climate change, energy management and renewable energies. Chairman of the Elections Commission, Nimalji Punchiheva, says although media can render an immense service to democracy except for state media, private media is only working with their business objectives. He pointed out it has become a challenge to democracy and to the election process. He mentioned this during a function in Colombo in connection with the International Democracy Day celebration. Speaking on the occasion, he said that methodologies have been prepared to include the name of a voter in the voters list when he or she completes 18 years. He said that the trust in the local government institutions by the people has lost due to the malpractices committed by their representatives. The report on new strategies of the Elections Commission between 2022 and 2025 was uploaded to the website of the Commissioner General of Elections, Samal Ratnayaka, on the occasion. With that, we conclude the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The head of the World Health Organization says the world has never been in a better position to end the COVID-19 pandemic. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told reporters at a virtual press conference yesterday that the end is in sight. That was the most upbeat assessment from the UN agency since it declared an international emergency in January 2020 and started describing COVID-19 as a pandemic 3 months later. The virus, which emerged in China in late 2019, has killed nearly 6.5 million people and infected 606 million, shaking global economies and overwhelming healthcare systems. That was Main News.
The Main News story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. The Department of Examinations says that applications for the rescrutiny of GCE Advanced Level Exam 2021 results can be submitted online from today until September 28, 2022. The Commissioner General of Examinations, LMD Dharmasena, stated that the applications can be downloaded and submitted through the department's official website, that's www.doenets.lk. That came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to world news. Taking a look at the headlines of the world news. Long queues reported as people wait to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II. Florida governor takes credit for sending migrants to Martha's Vineyard. Billionaire boss of fashion retailer Patagonia gives company away. Now the world news in detail. There are long queues along the south bank of the River Thames as people wait to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II. She is lying in state in Westminster Hall. Thousands of mourners queued through the night for their chance to file past the coffin. King Charles is spending the day at his country home, Highgrove. The Prince and Princesses of Wales will be in Sandringham later to look at floral tributes. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis is taking credit for sending 2 planes carrying about 50 migrants to the wealthy island of Martha's Vineyard. It is part of the state's program to send migrants to sanctuary destinations. This appears to be an escalation of a tactic which has seen Republican states bus migrants to Democratic areas. Martha's Vineyard is a resort and a traditional summer destination for Hollywood stars. The billionaire founder of outdoor fashion retailer Patagonia says he has given away his company to a charitable trust. Yvonne Chauvena said that under a new ownership structure, any profit not reinvested is running the business would go to fighting climate change. This will amount to around $100 million a year, he claimed, depending on the health of the company. Patagonia sells hiking and other outdoor clothing in over 10 countries. With that, we conclude the world news. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the world news once again. Long queues reported as people wait to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II. Florida governor takes credit for sending migrants to Martha's Vineyard. Billionaire boss of fashion retailer Patagonia gives away company. With that, we conclude the world news. Moving on to development news. Janata Estate Development Board has presented deeds to 440 families each, receiving 7 perch of land on a permanent basis to own a house of their own from Navalapitiya JEDB Estates. Chairman of JEDB Wing Bhuvaneka Besuria said that the program commenced from the Navalapitiya estates and land was presented to staffers from 7 estates from Navalapitiya area. That ends development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe has approved the cricket squad that will take part in the T20 World Cup in Australia next month. They have been named by the Sports Council. The list of names is scheduled to be published in due course. Sri Lanka has to take part in a qualifying round for the World Cup. Sri Lanka will play against Namibia, United Arab Emirates and Netherlands. The first match between Sri Lanka and Namibia will be played at Geelong, Australia. That ends Sports News.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Colombo International Container Terminals has been crowned the best container terminal in Asia in the under 4 million TEUs category for the 6th consecutive year. The announcement of CICT's prestigious win on a global platform was made at the 2022 Asian Freight, Logistics and Supply Chain Annual Awards Gala hosted at the JW Marriott Hotel, Hong Kong by Asia Cargo News. That was Business News.
Business News, Sponsored by
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB. Now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Economic News. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
According to a new report by the International Finance Corporation, the impacts of workplace violence and harassments has led to the loss of 6 working days per employee every year, costing the 9 Sri Lankan companies surveyed at least $1.7 million. The study highlights that 3 out of every 5 people surveyed experienced some form of workplace violence or harassment, while nearly 1 out of 5 people felt unsafe at work. Employees of the 9 companies surveyed across genders and age groups reported they were impacted by bullying, sexual harassment, or online violence. That was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. The Met Department says few showers will occur in Western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in Uva and Eastern Province during the evening or night. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. Sri Lanka's first higher education institute to feature a Japanese job-oriented program commences a degree program. The Financial Intelligence Unit imposes a penalty on a private bank to enforce compliance. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange crosses 10,000 points mark. The Commissioner General of Examinations says GCE Advanced Level and Grade 5 scholarship examinations will not be postponed. Monday declared as a holiday for government and government-approved private schools. With that, we conclude the news.